Welcome home. It's December the 13th, and the episode title is Dark Deeds and Social Media. Gear Games won the RPG Publisher Spotlight, and I've dropped them an email to line up a Q&A. But look, December's always a tough month to get this arranged, as everyone is so busy. We shall try though, we shall try. In Australia, some internet youngsters might now have more spare time though, as they have been banned from social media. All of them. Australia is getting a lot of praise from other countries for this bold move, but it has also sparked plenty of heated debate. What struck me as interesting and a bit weird perhaps is how gaming and messaging platforms are exempt from the ban. So it's not illegal for a youngster in Australia to play D&D on a virtual tabletop and chat about the game on Discord. It is unlawful for them to watch that same game being played on Twitch as part of the chatting community. I think this is going to make finding a game much harder, but I'm not certain how many pre-teens are keen to play on VTTs in the first place. I suspect the biggest impact might be in getting youngsters interested in tabletop gaming from the internet. This will happen if actual plays become less interesting and harder for them to discover. But what do you think? Do you support the Australian move to block kids from social media? Wizards of the Coast and Invoke Studio have a dark D&D computer game coming out called Warlock, therefore kid-friendly. The lead character is played by Tricia Helfer of Battlestar Galactica fame, and while Invoke talk about tactical combat and exploration, I suspect the use of a TV star will mean lots of storytelling and narrative. John Haidt, Wizards of the Coast president, is the name attached to the press release, and he notes the cost that comes with the powers of the Warlock. We are expecting the game to be out for about summer next year, and that means Warlock will be out before Exodus. Exodus is a Wizards of the Coast and archetype entertainment game that has had writing from the sci-fi mastermind Peter F. Hamilton and has Matthew McConaughey playing the lead character. The ambitious sci-fi is now not expected until 2027, a whole year after Warlock. While Warlock has D&D, of course, Exodus does have its own TTRPGs, which you can try and order from the game's website, but they seem to have gone from pre-order to sold out in a blink, at least as far as I can see. I imagine though if the game is successful, Wizards of the Coast will print more or make them digitally available. They'd be daft not to. And while Exodus and Warlock are new computer games, we also had an old D&D game making a comeback this week. Sneg has released and updated The Temple of Elemental Evil. It's not a new game, it uses D&D 3.5 rules and has been kept alive as a computer game by modders. But now it has been re-released with some 1,000 patches applied. That is impressive. I know we've been all digital, but that's kind of the news we've had this week. For example, Wizards of the Coast published 2 articles about their D&D plans for projects like Maps VTT. And here's a rundown. 3D dice rolling is delayed until next year. The rules assistant is delayed until next year. A campaign console? Well, that's gone, probably. Shuttered forever. Didn't even see the light of day. And Zach Conn, the new project manager there, is asking for feedback, which is good, and input from players. And I didn't fill in the survey because to do so I had to promise not to talk about it, so I backed out when I saw that rule. But what I find a bit interesting, what pings my radar, is just how conceptual some of the concerns seem to be. And if you're asking these basic stuff and your project is due at the start of 2026, isn't that out of whack? Shouldn't your programming now nearly be over? But a 2026 release that I am looking forward to is not a computer game or a VTT, at least not yet. It's Supergirl. And Bronwyn blogged the trailer. No prizes for spotting either Lobo or how similar it feels to Guardians of the Galaxy. The risk, I think, is that superhero fatigue remains thick in the air even in 2026, and Supergirl must find the balance being different enough to be interesting, but not too different to put people off. I guess the next story isn't strictly tabletop RPG either, but it might well be connected to the recent write-down by Paradox and their rethink of the World of Darkness. Jason Carroll, who has been at the helm of World of Darkness marketing for years, has left. Jess Lanzillo remains. We're not losing Carroll from the scene though, as he's joining Tabletop Vacations as the Dean of Dungeon Master University. Congratulations, Carroll. Lastly, in bundles, there's a deal from Kevin Crowfoot with Worlds Without Number on the bundle if holding. On that note, take care, travel through space and time, and see you next week.